The Australian Cyber Security Agency and the AFP have been called in to investigate a ransom threat made by a group of hackers who claim to have sensitive information from health insurer Medibank Private. The Home Affairs Minister Claire O'Neil describes this latest attack in combination with the Optus security breach as a major wake-up call. Joining me live is Kate Pounder, CEO of the Tech Council of Australia. Thanks very much for your time. The interesting thing about this so far is, similar to Optus, Medibank Private still seemingly don't quite know what's happened, what's been taken in this, and the government's sort of saying it's concerning but refer any questions to Medibank Private. Should we know more by now?
Look, Medibank Private will be taking this extremely seriously, and I'm sure they'll want to give their customers the best and most accurate advice possible. So I think this care shows the seriousness with which they're treating the response. Customers can be assured that as soon as they know the full details, they'll both be working with the customers to assist them, as well as working with the government to take any necessary measures to help customers protect their data.
The question is obviously whether it's health data, which is one concern, but probably a relatively niche one in terms of who's going to be blackmailed for their health data not to be revealed. I get there's concern there, but the other one would be the mass release again of anything that can identify yourself, a driver's licence number, whatever it might be, date of birth. So the concern here around the latter, what likelihood that we're seeing a huge breach again, do you think?
Look, this is a wake-up call for us as a nation. We know that we are a target for cybersecurity attacks. We're a relatively wealthy country. There's a lot of people in Australia that are strong adopters of technology, and our cyber security defences across the board are not where they need to be. But I think the answer to that is to come together as a nation and use this as a moment in time to significantly improve our cyber resilience. And I think there's 4 actions in particular we can take that will make it less likely that these breaches happen again, and less likely that there's more consequences if they do.
Yeah, I know you've written about that, so going through a few areas. Prevention versus cure, I guess. The first question has to be, what data do we actually need? And a pretty urgent look at what data is stored, which I guess is a bit of a U-turn from not so long ago when the Australian government was scrambling to get companies to store more data because they were concerned about crime and terrorism, other such things.
Look, absolutely. I think that we all need to take data governance seriously, and so this is a timely opportunity to reform our laws in Australia, our privacy laws, but as well as our broader legislative framework around data retention, to bring it into the 21st century, that these laws should be there to protect Australians, to protect Australian businesses, not to put us at risk.
What about the Australian government's ability to do something? I'm not sure where it's at right now in terms of what they can take charge of, but once it's a data breach like this that's affecting possibly a lot of people and a serious one, do we need them, the government and agencies to not sort of need permission from the company, but have a right to go in and sort of have, I don't know, officers within the company looking at things, making sure the right processes are being followed once there's been that hack? I
think there's 3 more things that we need to do. One is to update our cybersecurity strategy in Australia and bring it again into the 21st century, recognise the nature of the types of crimes that are being committed, recognise our complex geopolitical environment. And as part of that, we need a better national coordination and response mechanism. It needs to be easy for companies to disclose information in the event of a crisis. It needs to be easy to triage that, and it needs to be easy to coordinate and communicate that with the community so that should one of these crises happen, we can all act swiftly and well to deal with it. You know, it's just like in a bushfire or other types of crises we face. We want to know that we have the best responders on the ground, across businesses, across the community, across our public service professionals working together to solve the problem.
The last thing I want to ask you is just for customers. What would you be doing right now if you were a customer? I know we don't know anything right now, but is there something you'd do as a precautionary act right now around passports or anything else like that, just in case something's out there?
Look, before I come to that question, I actually think the one thing we need to do as a nation, the real wake-up call here, is fix our skill shortages with cybersecurity professionals and with tech jobs more specifically. And the reason for that is it's like fighting a cyber war with no soldiers at the moment. We have terribly acute skill shortages. Cyber CX, for example, forecasts we're going to be 30,000 cybersecurity professionals short by 2026. We're going to need about 440,000 experienced tech workers by 2030. We are not on track for that now. So I think acting to prioritise filling some of these skill shortages through our skill migration system and through training Australians, it has to be one of the number one things we do now urgently as a nation. As for customers, I think the best thing to do is don't panic, wait to receive the advice from Medibank Private, but as well as from the government. They'll be working together, and once that advice is in place, that will help customers take any necessary steps to protect their data or their identity.
All right, so those customers, keep a lookout for an email, and of course remember you won't get sent links. Don't click on any links. We know some of those Optus customers fell, I suppose, foul of that once that did happen. Kate, thank you for your time today.